Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dixie Lincoln Nichols, and this is my 30-day YouTube challenge, day 4. I made it to day 4. And I'm beginning to feel my muscles build here. This is feeling good. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Okay, so if this is your first time watching any of my videos, you can go back to the first channel, the first day of the challenge, the second day of the challenge, and the third day of the challenge to get a little bit more perspective. I shared some of my origin story. I shared some of my entrepreneurial pursuits, my professional work, what I'm doing now, what led me to where I am right now. So that's what the first 3 videos were about, basically getting to know me a bit and why I decided to start a YouTube channel. I started this YouTube channel back in 2014, by the way. So I've had it forever and it's just been sitting here. It's potential energy, but now I'm turning it into kinetic energy. So today I'm going to share a bit about what self-care means to me. In my previous videos, I talked about self-care being the impetus for why I'm here, a self-care sabbatical, right? I left my job and embarked on a self-care sabbatical, one that I believe I am still on and one that I believe I will be on until I die. And the reward for this sabbatical is not being paid so that I can study and further my education. It's so that I can be well. I can learn to be well. I can learn to be in alignment with who I am and how I want to show up in this world. That is the reward for me. So, and yes, money comes with that too, but really it is the inner work that I'm doing. And the self-care sabbatical led to the name of my company that I had, the last one I closed down, which was called Inside Out of Beauty. And I'll share that with you and why and how that manifested, right? All again, a part of my self-care journey, right? So self-care for me is super important. My work is grounded in it. My healing is grounded in self-care. Really, the foundation for my existence is self-care. And one of the puzzling things for me that I have seen and heard online is when some people say, oh, I don't even talk about self-care much anymore because everybody's talking about it, or oh, it's become this trend. And I understand that trends come and go, but self-care for me is not a trend, and self-care should never be a trend. And if everybody's talking about self-care, I say that's a win because that's what we want. We want a ripple effect. But I think what's most important is that people truly understand what self-care means. I know it's been commercialized and it's become booming business. I don't know how it's going now in terms of the numbers, the stats. I don't pay attention to any of that. I pay attention to what it means for me to ground myself, to root myself in care so that I can then care for others. So it was this self-care sabbatical that I embarked on that has led me to this particular place in my life. And when I left my job for this self-care sabbatical, I created a vow for myself. So this vow is like 13 years old. And I come back to it over and over. It stayed the same. Everything and every word still resonates with me, which is why it's stayed the same. And I also created a running document, sort of like a paragraph of what self-care means to me. So aside from the vow, which holds me accountable, I have this running document in terms of what self-care means for me, what it can do for me, how it can support my well-being. And I'm going to share those with you. So, of course, I mentioned in my previous videos where this whole idea of self-care came from for me. The word self-care and self-care has been around for a long time, but when it became relevant to me, like I shared in one of my previous videos, was when my daughter was about 6 months old, and Oprah Winfrey was interviewing a guest, and they talked about self-care. Go back if you want to hear it. And then also recognizing that the phenomenal women who raised me in my small village of 300 or so people were kind of martyrs because they took care of everyone else and left themselves undone a lot of the time. Much of what they needed was undone, but yet they took care of everyone else. So these women took care of me. And so it was my family, blood, and also women who sort of formed a covenant to care for each other's children and each other's families, right? So I recognized that and I wanted to change that in my life. I wanted to continue on the care that they gave me and showed me and modeled for me in terms of what community looks like, but I didn't want to model what self-care looked like because it, as far as I am concerned, they deserved so much more, right? And so I made a decision, I made a vow to myself that I was going to care for myself and I was going to learn what that truly is and lean into it as much as I can in my life. And that's what I have done, and that's what I continue to do. So let's talk a little bit about this self-care vow. I'm going to read it for you. I vow to make self-care a priority, to be unapologetic about my care, to do something to nourish my body, my mind, and my spirit every day, and to take care of, and to take great care of me and support others with love, goodness, and grace. That vow guides me. It's a guiding light for me because in times when I stumble or I fall back into old ways of being, all I have to do is remember my vow, look at the vow, and I'm reminded this is what you need to do. And so I have to pour into myself, have the energy that I need to be able to support others. And that's it. Period. Done. Let's talk about the running document, which I've tweaked over the years in terms of what self-care does for me and how I see self-care and how it guides me and how it still guides me. And then I'll tell you how it got me here, just going back to this document. So, self-care is the vehicle that can take you to your unique happiness. It can take you from undone to on top of this wonderful world. It can take you from fed up to freedom, from physical to spiritual, from unwell to well, from broke to bringing in the big bucks, from fearful to fearless, from confusion to clarity, from passionless to purposeful, from unhappy to blissful, from staycationer to global vacationer, from giving up to giving back. Yes, the possibilities are endless. It is, in essence, the lack of self-care that prohibits us from living the lives we truly want and deserve. This is my running document that I have used for years. This one, not 13 years. I created this in 2014, so 2014, and then I created the vow in 2012. So 2 years later, as I was on my self-care journey and coaching women, I became a health and wellness coach by then, shortly after I left my job. And so I coached women individually, I coached women in groups, I had workshops. And so as I started to ground myself more fully and root myself in self-care, I was able to create this running document. Like I said, I have tweaked it over the years, but I come back to it over and over. And it was this document coming to it that led me to this 30-day YouTube challenge. Because I've had this since 2014, literally the same year that I wrote this document. I've had a YouTube channel. I think it's either 2014 or 2016 I've had my channel, but I think it's 2014. Anyway, I had to come back to it and ask myself, well, what is self-care doing for you and this channel that you have? This, you're sitting on potential energy here that can be turned into kinetic energy. You want it moving. You want it to be energy in motion. You want it, the energy to connect with other people. You want the energy to diffuse into the world and touch the people that are aligned and that see what you're doing and it resonates with. I'm not looking for approval. I'm not looking for anyone to validate what I'm doing. I'm looking for people to resonate with what I'm doing because it does something good for them. And so I had to come back to this document and I was like, ah, yeah, it's time to move. And so there was something else I created. I can't remember what year. Was it 2014 or 15 or 16? I can't remember, but it was years ago. I also created something called Triple A. And Triple A is another guide for me that moves me, gets me unstuck, and brings clarity. So Triple A for me, right? And for you, if you wanted to, means awareness, acknowledgement, and action. Awareness, acknowledgement, and action. And so, looking at this document, I had to make a decision. And of course, I called on AAA in awareness that I have this channel. I have tried making it work before. It didn't. I quit. And so, I'm aware of all of that. I'm aware of the potential that it has. And so, I acknowledge that as well. I'm in awareness. I know. And I acknowledged. I acknowledged that this is what I am doing and this is what I'm not doing. And this is the result, which is not the result that I want. And then it was easy for me to then take action. And the action was starting this challenge. So again, it all started with my self-care vow to myself, remembering that I need to nourish my body, my mind, and my spirit. Looking at the document and reminding myself of what self-care can do for me. It can lead me from fearful to fearless. And this is the one sentence in this case. And I had to just be honest with myself. Like, what was I afraid of? What am I afraid of in terms of creating a channel and sharing my message and letting the energy of what I do diffuse into the world? What was it? And it always is some kind of fear of criticism and yeah, it's always fear around criticism, I would say. So we all have it and it's okay, but we can't stay stuck in it. And so for me, it was about moving, even though there is fear, being less fearful. So self-care can take you from fearful to fearless. And it can take you from potential energy to kinetic energy. And so the potential for the channel moved from just being there as something that can actually do something to something that's actually doing something. I'm actually here talking to you right now. So this is the kinetic energy I'm talking about. This is the energy in motion that I wanted to have for the channel. Now, the challenge after the challenge is to be consistent and to continue to show up for myself and to continue to show up for the work that I do. But again, all of it is grounded in how I care for myself and these documents and these words that are guiding lights for me. Self-care is not a trend. It is not something that I see as, oh, everybody's doing it, therefore I want to do it. And when everyone's not talking about it, I'm going to stop doing it. I know it's been around for a long time. I really dove into what self-care meant from Black feminists, especially their work around radical self-care. And I'll talk about that some other time as well. But for now, I just wanted to share with you the importance of self-care to me as a foundation for the work that I do and as a guiding light for my existence, for my present, and for my future. Yeah, and that's it. That is video number 4. I will see you tomorrow for video 5. And then, of course, don't forget on day 6 and 7, which is the weekend. On weekends, I only upload shorts. So I'll upload a short. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. I will see you next time.